の、住む人間の、あ、クロクローン、クロー
Yep.
ンでしかない。We merely exist as clones, like we merely live as clones
Yep.
from the real truth, the real Earth, or whatever it is.
Perfect.
It's like the Matrix.
Probably, maybe. I feel that I haven't seen the Matrix, but I feel it's more like you're sleeping and it's a virtual reality kind of thing.
Hmm.
Anthony, your turn next.
そう、僕たちは、奴らに作られた事件材料であり。It's
Perfect.
like, that's, we're, we were made by them, the 真実の人間, through a, test. Like,
It's more
we're
as a
material.
test rather than through it.
Like,
Yes.
yeah.
We are human beings created from those guys as some kind of test materials. And Cookie, if you can read that, it gets even like messier here. There's kansatsu, oku, I don't know what that is. Jibun tachi? We might just have to skip it, I don't know. Oh, I don't know what that is. Do we want to skip it? I think you're muted again. This is why I can't hear you. Let's look. Yep.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we can read it another time. This is where Mokuro really died.
Yeah, it's because their handwriting is disgusting. I don't think we're supposed to know how to read it. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Okay. Shujin is what he says. So, and then Shujin says the next thing, which is going to go to you, Cookie.
Yep. Like, Hyujin, 悪い、面倒だから、おまでけど、そっから先も無意味な見開きとか、バンバン入れたら、I think it means, I don't know what comma means.
Koma is the panels.
Oh, I thought it meant a comma as in, okay, but
That's a koma.
yeah, sorry, it's like, my bad. It's really, sorry if it's really bothersome because, I didn't draw the frames very well. From here, like basically after the stuff we've seen so far, it makes no sense.
Mihiraki is apparently a word to mean refer to a two-page spread. So that's when this is one koma, but it's between two pages.
Yeah,
This will commonly be like a picture of something important type of idea.
yeah. So, the gist is he's really trying to churn out frames and get the general gist of the story together without much of a plan. That's what he's trying to say.
Basically, he's saying his panels layouting is really, really bad. Because he's basically, so first he did some two panels, right? And these are humongous panels. And then he starts just doing two-page spreads without any meaning in it. Muimi.
Yes.
So there's no like emphasis. So like normally a two-page spread is there for emphasis, but he's basically saying he's not sure how to do the paneling right. So he just started being lazy and making it into two-page spreads. So that's why he said, Wadi, sorry. It was a really big pain when I was trying to panel it out, and I gave up. This is basically what he says. Bun bun, eat it. この話、何かパクってる? Wait, did you plagiarize this from something? And then, Anthony, for you?
パクってないけど、こんな話誰でも思いつくから、何かと被ってても許せよな。正直言うと、話的にはこれでも今の俺の精一杯。Okay, so saying, I didn't copy it, but this talk, but anyone can like think about it. 誰でも、even if we like hide it, will be forgiven. 正直言うと、honestly speaking, 話的にはこれです。話的。Oh, what's 話的?
Oh, 話的?
Yeah.
Conversationally? It's probably what it means.
話的には、これでも今の俺の精一杯。
It might actually mean episodic. Sticky, apparently.
Okay. Episodically, this is my first time that I'm giving it my all.
Perfect, yeah. So apparently it's not episodic in this context. It just doesn't have that in the dictionary. But yeah, it's what I translated earlier as, like, he's basically saying, like, to be real to you.
Okay.
Is what he's using it as. But yeah, perfect. Yep. The kaburu here is probably saying like if they overlap with a story someone else slightly made in some way, it should be fine because it's a story that anybody could think of. So he's saying I didn't plagiarize it, but I don't feel like the story I wrote was very special. Like it feels like a story anybody could have written. Cookie, next is for you.
誰にでもは思いつかねえよ。少なくても俺には思いつかない? That's a big tsu, right? Okay.
This is the same as the previous one. Do you know what omoitsuka means? Anthony didn't translate it totally right, but it made sense in the context, so I didn't like correct him.
Yeah, it's like to think of, right?
Yes,
it's like
to think
kigatsuku.
up. It's like
That's
to create something through thinking of it.
Yeah. Or to realize kigatsuku, right?
It's not to realize in this context.
Right.
It is literally to think up, to create using your brain.
Yeah. 俺には思いつかない他の漫画やゲームの設定をパクって転生してる漫画だってあるんだぞ。Okay, so I think he's trying to reassure him, saying it's not like everyone can think of something like that, right? And then, I said it right, yeah?
Well, yo isn't translated as right. That would have been that would be ne, and this ne over here is not that ne. Do you know what the yo particle means?
You know.
You know.
That's what I tried to mean when I said that.
This is used in a way to make something into an aggressive statement rather than a like nah. It's a little bit more wishy-washy. So 誰にでもは思いつかねえよ means there's no way anybody would just think of this. He's like very aggressive in the statement versus your translation is more like, oh, I don't think anybody can make it up. It's very aggressive in Japanese. There's like no doubt.
Fair enough. 少なくても
Since you asked.
Let me think. Sukunakute means few, right?
It does mean
Or
few, but tsukunakutemo means at the very least, is how it's
yeah,
normally translated.
at the very least, to me, I can't think of yeah, I wouldn't have thought of it.
Yes, perfect.
And then other mangas or games, um, it would be something that would occur in other games or mangas,
It,
serializations.
it's not saying that. So he says manga datte aru. What does that mean?
After all, it would be in a
After
manga.
all, datte doesn't mean after all. Datte means even. So
Oh,
even
okay.
aru. What does aru mean?
To be in.
No, that's ireru. Aru is
Oh,
to
to
exist.
exist. Yeah.
So manga datte aru mean there even exists manga that are rensai shiteru. What does that mean?
Serialized.
Yep, there even exist mangas that are serialized with a pakud sette. What does that mean?
It means 4 different things: to
Oh.
rip off, plagiarize,
Mm.
arrest, or to open one's mouth wide and
So.
eat heartily.
Pakud. In this context, it is to plagiarize. To
Yep.
steal. To steal what? Sette.
To steal the story or the
Not the
creation.
story, the sette. That's a little bit different. Story, right, is like your plot. It's your character. Sette is the setting in which the characters live in, right? For example, if you say, oh, I read an isekai manga, you instantly know what kind of story it is. We got the knights and the magic users, and you got the leveling system window normally, right? That's a setting, right? That is being plagiarized between all of the isekai creators together. Like there's certain tropes that you will commonly see, but they're not like taking Natsuke Subaru from ReZero and putting him in with Konosuba by default. Other than that one short comma thing, that's like a different thing. But like when they're talking about here, it's like they're both fantasy stories, right? And there's a lot of things they have in common in the setting because they stole something from each other. They didn't like come up with the setting all by themselves. And by coinkydink, it just so happens that both of them have pretty girls with magic in it. You know, that wasn't really a coincidence. They're both, you know, being based off of whoever first started making video games that started making those into manga or whatever, and it just kind of builds up onto itself. You know. That's
I've
what they're
never seen
referring.
ReZero in my life.
It's really good. I was like, what is an isekai? ReZero is not a good example of an isekai, really. But it goes well with Konosuba because both of them play with tropes, but they play with them in the opposite ways. Have you seen Konosuba?
I've
There's
seen a few memes of it, but that's it.
yeah, it's funny. So so The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, by the same author, but let's pretend they weren't. They're both set in the same world, right? But they have different characters. The Hobbit has the Hobbit person as their main character, and The Lord of the Rings has 5,000 other people as their main character or something. I don't know. I haven't read those either. It's more about yeah. You know what SAO is?
Sword Art Online.
Sword Art Online, yeah. So right there, right, that setting is that that people are trapped in a video game, right? And the video game has a system window and stuff like that. And if you die, you get killed. Wano else has that exact same setting. Dio dot hack. Not
I've heard of Dot
popular at
Hack.
all. Dot Hack.
I've
The
only heard
setting
of Dot Hack by name.
Yeah, Dot Hack was based off a video game that turned into like 3 different animes, all of which that are about people playing a virtual online game in which if you die in the online game, you die in real life. The difference between SAO and Dot Hack is that SAO everybody is trapped, and in Dot Hack there's normally one character that gets trapped, and they're confused why this happened. There's also Log Horizon, which is a very similar idea of a whole bunch of people suddenly being trapped in a video game world. But Log Horizon is more grounded in its world building, and it's more like these people got transported to a real world that just happens to be the video game, versus SAO is they're in the video game, which makes so it's like these 3 shows all have the same basic setting. is what this is. But they're all very different plots, and they have different characters. So that's what he's referring to. That manga. So, like for example, what Shujin wrote was the basic setting is that we have 2 Earths. One Earth is just a whole bunch of clone people, right? It's a clone, fake Earth type of thing. That's the setting. It's not the plot of the story, right? That's just where things are occurring. Most stories have a separate setting from their plot. This isn't true for all stories, as some of them are more involved with each other. Like I would argue that Durarara as an anime book or whatever is more setting than plot, but the setting is the plot. Like it's more combined together than some other things. But that's what they're referring to. The setting, the set day. That was a long thing to talk about. But basically, he's saying a lot of stories won't create a brand new world. They take a world that already exists and make their own characters in that world and maybe spin things a little bit. He says, つうか俺、この設定、引き込まれる. He says, by the way, I am totally enraptured by this setting. He loves it. He says, Uso! No way! You love what I wrote? And then Anthony, next bubble goes to you.
いや、でも、設定だけで、その先、真実の地球のやつと、こっちの人間が戦うけど、戦うだけだぞ。いや、でも、with only the, no, but, with only that settings, earlier,
Saki isn't being used as earlier. It's saying in the future of the story.
In the future of the story, with the fellows in the real Earth, will fight with this with the people right here.
Yeah, with our people. Perfect. Yes. That's what I was saying. And this right here, right? This is the plot. And maybe the setting as well. So that's an example where it can be both. But the other one was only the setting and not the plot. So basically, the setting is that there's a war going on. The plot is that it's about people fighting in the war. So that's when you can get them be kind of the same thing. That thing. But basically, he's saying he doesn't have a very in-depth setting plot going on. He had a cool idea of 2 worlds, and then now they're fighting against each other. And that's as far as he got into things. The next bubble goes to Cookie.
その展開が見えるから惹かれるんだって人間同士が思い切り戦えるじゃん、これ。I think it says, from this development, once you have seen it,
The
I'm
internet
trying to
get cut
think of a
off?
way to
Oh.
say
Sorry, there's a long
I'm
pause
trying
there.
to that's how I usually do things, okay? I won't come up with a translation in 3 seconds.
You're like, there's the X mark. Well, Mieru, you did translate that right, but you didn't translate the kata right, was part of the issue. This kata is more like because in this context. The from is more te kara. So it says miete kara. So instead it's
Yeah.
mieru kara. So because we can see what?
So because we can see the development or the
Yes.
progression.
Well, in this case, it's not really progression. So the context is that Shujin's story that he wrote is that there is a normal Earth and then there is a clone Earth where the clone people are experimented on, basically, were made as an experiment from the real Earth people. And then the clone Earth people are not very happy about that, so they go to war with the real people. This development of these guys not being happy about being clone specimen is kind of something most people when reading the story would have kind of guessed. They're like, okay, there's some kind of conflict going to be going on between the clone people and the normal people, because otherwise why would this story exist? Since we're establishing the fact that these two are like two different things. There's other ideas that you could have picture as well, but that's like what the author thought was like, duh, that's what it is. So he says, because you can guess that this is what the story is going to be about in the beginning, like you read that and you're like, I know what this is going to be about. We're going to have some action, more sci-fi stuff. Because of that, you are hikirareru. You know what
You'll be
hikirareru means?
absorbed. You'll be absorbed into the story.
Exactly. You really want to read the story. That's the first
Yep.
2 lines.
And then the datte here means so.
Not really.
And I get
Datte
closure.
can mean datte can mean even, but in this case, I would probably guess it's te rather than datte. So it's like saying like wa here, I guess. Kamiru kara hikiru no wa. I just would like end the sentence. I don't think like the English put a period there, and you're probably all good. It's like an and.
Right. So what Shujin is trying to say is that in this universe, what?
Oh, I see part of your confusion. You see how this point goes up and this point goes down? This is Psycho talking.
Oh, okay.
And the first one was Shujin. So Shujin's not feeling confident. He's like, oh, I just kind of made the setting and I didn't really do a good plot. And Shujin's like, wow, reading this was so cool. I was enraptured because when you read the first line, you're like, battle sci-fi. I love battle sci-fi, right? He's edging Shujin on right here.
Okay, so Psycho is saying mankind in this universe will be really fighting it out in this story.
Yes.
Yeah.
They'll be written fighting each other even though they're both fellow humans. Perfect. And then Anthony, next line goes to you.
なあ、これちゃんと書いて。やっぱジャンプに持ち込まね。俺も頑張って、それなりの絵にしてみせる。Hey, properly drawing it, if we properly draw it, yeah, we'll for sure, be inside, we'll be able to like carry it inside like jump.
That's basically what it's saying, but I think you're not actually understanding, even though you translate it basically right. It's saying, why don't we actually draw this correctly and like bring it into jump? Is what he's saying. The yappa is like really, like we really should bring this in type of word. So the mochikomu is to bring into, but we're bringing it, not that it'll be approved.
Okay. 俺も頑張って。I too will also do my best.
Do your
With
best
that,
with what?
so, それなりの絵にしてみせる。I will show them. With that, I will show them my drawing.
Yeah, in this case, I think he means shujin in this context, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
And the next two lines here goes to Cookie.
それともこれより面白いの頭の中にあんのか、How do I put this together? それとも means or else.
Yeah, or.
And then これより means from this. Or from this.
I wouldn't really translate it yori as from unless you're reading a letter. Like, it does mean from this, but like I'm not sure you actually know that means without the context.
Okay, maybe if instead we can translate it as since.
It's definitely not since. That is 100% incorrect. Yori can mean from, but it's from as a basis of comparison unless you're talking about a letter. This means less than. So kore yori means this is less. So in English we'd say more than this. So more than this. Atama no naka ni omoshiroi mono ga arimasu ka?
Do you have anything more do you have anything more interesting, less interesting?
It's one of those two.
Do you have anything less interesting that's coming from your head?
So what does yori mean?
Than.
Is it the less than or the more than?
I have no idea because it doesn't say afterwards.
So whole. Do you know what that means? No whole ga?
Yep.
What does that mean?
Direction.
It does mean direction. Man, you used to know this. It's funny. which is funny. This is a relatively early on grammar point, which is whole ga vs yori. They're normally in the same sentence. Like ringo no hou ga oki. You know what that means?
The apple is bigger.
You're right. So then you do know what whole means. It means bigger. That is attached to the item that's bigger. And then you could say ichigo yori is how we combine with that. Ichigo yori ringo no hou ga ookii. So what does that mean?
Yeah.
Do you know?
One moment before we get entangled in this. It doesn't say no hou ga in that sentence, in that question.
But we're talking about yori right now. What does ichigo yori ringo no hou ga ookii mean?
So so ichigo is like strawberry. The strawberry is bigger than the apple.
No, because whole is the one that's attached to the bigger. So that's what you forgot. You forgot yori from that same lesson. This is taught together as the two things. So we like to have long sentences when they're taught. So you remembered that whole meant bigger when I said ringo no hou ga. But when I added ichigo yori, you got confused and thought ichigo was bigger than apples. So this is attached to the smaller item. Ichigo yori ringo no hou ga ookii means that apples are bigger than strawberries. Or literally, Strawberries are less than, apples are the bigger, or more, when you're talking about bigness. So if you wanted to say like chisai, right? You would probably switch these around and say ichigo no hou ga ringo yori chisai. With apples are being more things. So the yori is the less, is the particle that marks something being less. So in this context, the thing that's being marked as less was probably kore. Kore yori. This item is less than whatever other item we are referring to. You don't need a whole. It's like if we say in English, I can't think of an English sentence real quick. It's too hard. But in English, we prefer to use more first language. In Japanese, they like to use less first language. And that is the difference. So you almost never will see nohoga to refer to more than in Japanese, unless you're seeing something maybe translated directly from English. Instead, you're always going to see yori, and maybe the thing that's more might have a wa, but normally it's just defined by context, such it is in this sentence being defined in the context of wherever was the sentence that we were reading, which was down here. So kore, what does kore mean?
This, so less than this.
Less than this. And the this he's referring to is the story about the two worlds. So
Before we
the
continue,
two worlds is less.
Just a quick question, Monnie. Does yori on its own always mean less than?
Yeah, it's never going to be the more than.
Okay, good.
You could literally translate it as from, as in when you're comparing from this, the other thing is bigger. So it is a from, but I just, because it's not wrong, it probably says from the dictionary for a reason. Because like I said, it is used from like who wrote you the letter, for example, is when yori is used as a from. But it's never used on the bigger side. It's always the smaller side. You kind of think about it as the fact that whoever is writing you your letter should be less than you because of how humble form and stuff works in Japanese. We should be raising you up. You know, kind of idea. Okay, so 面白いのを頭の中にあんのか面白いの頭にありますか What is he talking about?
Do you have anything that's more interesting than what you currently have?
Yes, what you just showed me, basically. This thing I'm holding right here, because kore is close. Perfect, that's exactly what it is. So contextually, the no holga is dropped, and that's how it works in Japanese. And then contextually, the yori is dropped in English. The less than is dropped. I just can't think of a sentence on top of my head for it. But yeah, that it is like a complicated, mostly because it doesn't have the two together. But you'll normally see this instead of the other way. Anthony, next bubble goes to you.
一応、本も考えてた。グラサンピッチャー。2のグラサンピッチャー。グランスラムピッチャー。2グランスラム。一応、generally sports con.
Yep.
Even the sports con.
It's a sporty manga. The genre.
Generally sporting manga, even the sporting manga, has thought about it. For example, Grand Slam pitcher.
Yeah. Perfect. And the next line here goes to Cookie.
を目指してる剛速球な投げる昇格生が少年野球でピッチャーライナー顔面に当てて指名する。 Hmm.
Do you know what? Can you read that one again?
指名する.
Oh yes, yes. But I meant that you read it as akete, but it was ukete.
Ukete. Maybe I didn't pronounce it properly. Then I didn't realize it. Okay. Like he wants to become a pro.
Yes. And what other information do we have about him?
There's too many relative clauses. I need to
So.
find a place to start.
Mm.
Guy's blind or he's hard of sight. Oh,
Yes,
I
that's the
think
shitsume. that is what that means. That's our verb. So yeah, we can delete all of this real quick. Shogakusei ga shitsume suru. What does that mean?
oh, he's been blind since grade school or elementary school.
Yeah, elementary school student has been blind. Now there's multiple elementary school students. Which elementary student are we talking about? Go sokkyu nageru shougakusei ga shitsume suru.
Is that a person? Wait, no.
Do you know what nageru means?
The throw.
To throw. So we have an elementary school student that throws, and he throws specifically sokkyu. Do you know what a kyu is? We've seen this kanji before.
I think it's to be like a spherical globe.
It is a round ball, and sok is from speed, hayai. So gosokkyu is a fastball, specifically a blazing fastball. So we have an elementary school student that throws a really fast ball, and they've lost their eyesight. We also have more information about the student. This student is pro mezashiteru. What else do we know about this elementary school student?
He's trying to become a professional.
Exactly. So the elementary school student with a fast ball wants to become a professional, has lost his eyes. However, we figured out how he lost his eyes. Shonen yakyū de pitcher raina gamen ni ukete is what
There
happened
is
to
no
him.
such thing as baseball in this country. So what is a pitcher liner?
I don't exactly know, but gamen, right? Do you know what that means?
That's like a face of a person.
So he received something in his face, right? Which when he was doing shonen yakyu, so when he was in baseball, when he was an elementary school student, something happened to his face. Logically, probably a ball hit him in the face. So raina
Yeah.
might be a straight ball, with raina meaning line. But I could probably Google that. Pi cha raina. So rai. So raina means line drive. So logically, my assumption is this ball smacked him in the head. When did it do that?
During grade school or
During
elementary
grade
school?
school when he was in baseball practice. So he's like, I want to become a pro. He has a really good fastball, but a ball hit him in the head, and when that happened, he lost his eyesight. And then the next bubble here goes to Anthony.
10年後、突然グラサンかけた正体不明のピッチャーがプロのマウンドに現れ、校庭内外角を180キロで投げ分け完全試合を成し遂げる。Okay. After 10 years, suddenly, the whereabouts unknown. They became the he became lost.
はい。Shotai isn't whereabouts. Do you know what shotai is?
Form appearance.
True form. So
True form.
shotai fume means who is this person? We don't know. He's a
Oh.
mysterious individual. And this is describing a noun. Which noun is this mysterious individual? Who are we talking about?
Grandson.
No.
Kaketa.
Nope.
Picha.
That grandson kaketa is describing the shomei fume. The picha is who's shomei fute.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
picture, we don't know who he is, but he is kakeruing the grandson. Do you know what kakeru means?
It's the bet later.
Yeah.
The grandson.
So he's betting on the grand slam. And he arawareru. You know what that means?
Appeared. He appears.
Mm. So actually, kakeru here means wearing.
Oh.
There's 5,000 kakerus. It's because gura-san means sunglasses. So we have a picture with sunglasses on. We don't know who he is, and he has appeared where?
The pros mound.
Yes. So he appears in the pros mound after 10 years suddenly. This unknown human being appears. And then we have the next information. 高低内外角を180キロで投げ分ける。
高低内外角。High, low, naigai is like inside, outside, corners, or 180 kilometers speed. I think that's the speed. Throws it at like 180 kilometers per second. I don't know. Walk it.
Yes. So
I don't know.
you probably don't know a lot about pitching. I only know about pitching because I watched an anime called Okiku Futari. Maybe it's called something else like that, but it's something like that. It's a relatively old show. Anyway, apparently the area where the pictures like the guy that catches the ball is, you can split it up into different areas. Right? So these are the 4 kind of different areas. You can go a little bit high, can go a little bit low when you're doing this. So this guy right here, when he's throwing the ball, not only can he throw 180 kilometers straight down the middle, he can also do so higher or lower as well within all the different kind of corners that you can kind of aim at in this kind of area. And when you're playing baseball, apparently, when you're like pro level, you aim for different areas because when the pro is swinging, if you if you aim for the ball over here, the ball is more likely to get like out when the swinger hits. But if the swinger doesn't swing when you throw over here, the pitcher's in trouble. So there's certain rules for guessing about whether or not someone will swing or not, or notice if you swing it in the right area, based off of how you throw things. So having a pitcher that can throw all around is very useful for affecting the direction in which this hitter hits the ball during this thing, something like that. So that's what they're referring to. And last line.
完全試合を成し遂げる。The whole match or 成し遂げる. Togeru is like evading some or getting out of the way.
Nashitokiru means to accomplish.
Oh, I see.
So the kanzen shiai means a perfect game. So that basically means he threw it and they went out, or something like that. I don't know. No one was able to hit his balls. And Cookie, next is for you.
I think it's
聞こえない。
muted.
La 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 la.
Is he muted?
Oh, 聞こえない. He's gone. He pieced out.
Oh, wait.
What happened?
Is it nowhere to be found?
Oh, his internet suddenly disconnected.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we should finish this because this is like the last page anyway. プロになる夢を諦めず、父親と10年影の特訓を知ってたって話。So it turns out what would happen is that he did not give up on becoming a pro, and instead his dad gave him shadow training for the last 10 years. And the next bubble here goes to you, Anthony.
目見えないのバレて、野球協会と目ながらのともめながらも、その球を打ちたいライバルたちと戦っていく。目見えないの。You can't, a thing that you can't see with your eyes. No, I don't know what bare means.
Bareru is to be caught red-handed.
目見えないのバレ。when you, the, not being caught red-handed, 野球協会とも目と目ながらも、even like the baseball association won't be able to catch it.
Momeru is to disagree. So the fact that he cannot be seen is found out. And even though the baseball association says you should not be a baseball player, what happens?
その球を打ちたいライバルたちと戦っていく。To go and like fight the rivals team, using the by throwing the ball.
So this is a period here because it doesn't really make sense to say sonotama. Wait, actually, it could be a relative clause. So it could be even though the cancel says no, his rivals wish to hit his ball, so they continue the fight. Is a possible translation of this, or it says I want to do it. It makes more sense to be I want to do it because tai is normally used in a I kind of way, with tagaru being a third person kind of way. So, sono tama o uchitai, I want to hit it. But I don't know. It does make more sense in a way for it to be the rivals, since this guy specifically is a pitcher and not a hitter. So, I think I'm going to say it is the rivals want to hit the pitcher's ball. They're like, you are my rival, I want to play with you. So they basically are on his side against the baseball association. Which is very cool. やっぱ囚人才能あるよ. It's like, wow, you really do have talent, Sujin. And the next bubble here goes to you, Anthony.
普通の設定でそこまで話作り込めない。バカげてると思ってやめる。でも一見そのバカげてることをnormally that setting until there 話つa talk a story that is like has been created has not been created.
Yep, normally people would not create a story with such a elaborate setting going on. In this case, they're talking about plot.
Okay. バカげてると思って。
Oh, this continues to the, yeah. 馬鹿げると思ってやめる。
Stop thinking about stupid things.
Stop thinking you are an idiot. 馬鹿
stop
げてる means I'm stupid.
Okay. でも、一見、馬鹿げてることを、but one side,
一見
on one end. Yeah, what's
Iken is like with one look.
one look, but with one look that thinking, that stupid thing.
Exactly. With one look, I can see those stupid things are actually, I was going to say like genius is what he's basically probably ending that with. マジで才能あるって思ってる? Really? You really think I have talent? And the next bubble goes to you.
よかった。本当は俺、毎日必死に話考えてて。でも、俺、自信過剰なとこあるだろ。本当はどうなんだろうって。That's a relief. 本当は俺毎日必死にtell you the truth, I every day inevitably think about those story. But I 自信過剰なことある。I don't know what 自信. It's like
自信 means self-confidence. The most important part here is like the casual, really. This means excessive. So this is to be full of yourself. 自信過度. The self-confidence, too full.
Yeah, to be full, demo, I'm full of confidence myself.
To be too confident. The literal translation was that, but that doesn't sound right in English. So I was thinking, man, am I just full of myself? I was really thinking real hard in these stories, thinking like, man, this is gonna be so cool. But I was like, wait, am I actually stupid?
本当はどうなんだろう. Really, what do you think?
Perfect. 最高が認めてくれると本当の自信になるよ。よかった、よかった。The fact that Psycho has recognized my genius means I must really be genius. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Susan. And then the narration goes to you.
僕は主人の説得期限を夏休み明けとして、二つの地球をちゃんとした原稿に仕上げ、ジャンプに持ち込むことにした。僕は主人を、As for me, I persuaded Shujin, Keegan or Natsuyasumi. Keegan is like a deadline or Natsuyasumi. Okay, that's there. Natsuyasumi, the summer, the illumination.
Elimination?
Yeah, Akete.
Ake. Do you recognize that first kanji from like Ashita and stuff?
Okay. Yes. What is Natsuyasumi?
Natsuyasumi. So the most important part is the ake here, because that's what you translated fully wrong. So ake, right, means sun, or kind of like morning kind of idea. This is being used to mean beginning. The start of Natsuyasumi.
Okay.
So
the start of Natsuyasumi.
Yeah, is the Kigen.
二つの地球を um, the two earth, をちゃんとした原稿に仕上げ、原稿 I don't know what,
Genko is the manuscript.
the man ちゃんとした原稿に仕上げ。As to like, to complete the manuscript, to properly complete the manuscript, for that to,ジャンプに持ち込むことにした。To like, be acknowledged in Jump. So,
Acknowledgement isn't in there. That was
to
Gmon's.
carry it
Yes.
to Jump.
To bring into Jump. Perfect. Yep.
Bring it.
So I preserve, whatever that word is, Shujin, and then we decided the deadline was the beginning of summer, and then I finished up the manuscript all nice, and then we brought it into Jump. 理想のページ数は31か45でいい Okay. So he says, is it good for the amount of pages to be like, rather than being like 31, be more like 45? And he says, 多分 okay. And he says, it's probably fine, I think. So he's talking about like his outline. And then that is where we'll be ending this chapter. And I think this is probably the last chapter. Pause the recording.